Exam. Exam by Zach Black. Alright. The internal classroom day. The clock ticks with every second, the air tense and thick like raging knives. The students deadlocked and focus on their work. As the hours grow longer with each 10th second. Franklin, a young 20-year-old black male, very properly dressed and mannered, focuses on his work. Excuse me. He had done well studying prior before the exam. Franklin, focus. I just need one more question answered, then I'll have the exam finished. As he works towards the end of class, he nudges his pencil with each breath. Franklin, serious, continued. How many more questions is there? We should be almost done. As he continues, he begins to grow tired. He questions the worth of this exam. Franklin, tired. I need a break. I need something to relieve the stress. This stress. He raises his hand to leave for a restroom break. The teacher, Miss Rao, knows him to be honest. She walks over to check up on him. Miss Rao, happy. You okay, hun? Franklin looks up and smiles warmly. Franklin, smiling. Hey, Miss Rao, may I be allowed to use the bathroom? She looks at him with understanding eyes, seeing as he is almost done with his test. She looks at the clock with concern but gives him a kind smile. Miss Rao, warmly. Of course, just don't take too long. The exam day is almost over in 5 more hours. Franklin nods with thanks. Franklin, grateful. Thank you, I won't take too long. Internal. Bathroom day. Franklin goes to the bathroom, sweating profusely. As he looks down at his hands, he begins to pull out a solid long object from his pocket. He begins to turn the capsule on the top. Smoke begins to form as he raises it to his mouth. As he inhales the smoke, he begins to feel a form of buzzing sensation from this box. Franklin, high. Ah, this feels good. Been needing this. As he spends his time in the bathroom, a man walks in. There we go, correct that. As he spends his time in the bathroom, a man walks in looking at him with folded arms. Janitor, disappointed. Come on, man, why are you doing this? Franklin thinks for a minute and he begins to look bothered by the man. Oh, let me correct this. Let me just correct it. Franklin, bothered? What does it matter to you? It's my break time. The stress is just getting to me. The man walks up to Franklin and looks him dead in the eyes. Janitor, strictly. Now listen here, young man. Franklin reluctantly listens to avoid bringing attention. Janitor continues. I understand times can be hard. Stress can make a man lose hope. Puts hands on Franklin's shoulders warmly. Janitor continues. But destroying your mental health with vapes and drug substances is doing you no good. Franklin looks at his hand as the fumes exit his mouth. With his hands on his chin, he begins to contemplate. Janitor, when did all this start? The need for vaping. The constant stress. Go ahead and do some corrections here. Well, now that's a new doohickey. Always make sure that everything's properly punctuated. When did all this start? The need for vaping, the constant stress. Franklin looks at the man with a focused look, a hand to the side of his face while the other still holding the vape. Franklin, tired. I've been dealing with this anxiety since I was a child. Alright. Franklin continues as he lowers the vape and turns to look at the mirror. He thinks out loud to himself. Franklin, reminiscent. Ever since childhood, I have always been the best at everything I put my mind to. He breathes in and out as he continues. Franklin, subtle. My parents were always proud of my hard work and success. Franklin continues, but as time grew, the need to be successful kept building and building towards perfection. Franklin sits on the edge of the bathroom sink. Man watches with both arms folded, calmly understanding. Franklin, disappointed. It got to the point of needing a release, and seeing as I have always been around people who smoked for a relief at my job. He raises the vape box to his face as he looks with disappointment. Franklin buries his face to his palms in shame. The man walks over and hugs him. Janitor, forgivingly. We all have days where we feel that we need to rise towards expectations. Man shows Franklin his arm. They have multiple puncture bruises. Janitor continues. Used to do needles for pleasure and relief from many bad relationships. He laughs himself as he continues. Franklin confused. What's so dang funny? Man looks at him with a relieved look. He lays one hand on his shoulders and smiles. Janitor, hopeful. I was a crazy teen back then. Thought I had it all. Until I realized that no man's an island on their own. Reveals his left arm to have a cross tattoo, mentioning Christ being his personal savior. Janitor kindly continues, don't be so hard on yourself. You're young and still have a great life ahead. Sure, times can be hard, but you gotta keep pushing through with more healthier habits than this. Janitor continues, you'll do great. You'll do great things, kid. And I'm sure that your parents are very proud of the hard work you do, now even after you graduate. Boom. Make sure you properly format things. Franklin begins to tear up and realizes that perhaps there is hope. He throws the vape box to the trash as he walks past the toilets. Franklin, joy. Thank you, I needed this for a long time. Both begin to walk out the bathroom. As they exit, they look back at each other and nod in respect to one another. Franklin returns to class motivated to finish his finals. Franklin, motivated, continues. Okay, let's do this. And that concludes our screenplay, Exams by Zach Black. Thank you all. Hope you enjoyed. I very much enjoy just making these screenplays. This is something I've always taken a huge amount of pride in. So thank you everyone kindly. Thank you for listening.